All right, Betters, we're back at it again. Joe, the fan here with Shayna Mack for Just Win Bets Baby. Shayna, we've got a couple updates before we get into the NHL Draft pregame show. We've got some new hats. Some guys in the studio have sent it our way. The curly,
nice looking.
Yeah, in black and in white. So
nice.
what they've done is, Shano, is they did what's called a pop. They did more of a 3D on the cursive. I kind of like the W there.
Yeah, W looks sweet. All of it looks good.
Yeah.
I like that. It's sweet looking.
We also had some popper demands. Some people have emailed us and said, hey, maybe not the charcoal. Can we do it in gray? You asked, we shall deliver. There we go. I like the color on that there. Yeah, that looks good, huh?
Yeah, that looks good.
And it'll come in puff. I think that'll be a couple more dollars extra, but these are the two that they have. So we've got the white, the black, and the gray, and we'll do the charcoal as well. So that covers the store part, and the shop, Just Win Bets Baby shop, will premiere on July 1st. So that's when pre-orders will be taking place. And it looks like I would need to talk to our producers to find out exactly when that gets shipped out. But the website is pretty much almost done. They just need to tweak it here and there. And there will be a 10% off there, Shano, with the promo code. All you have to do, guys, is just sign on to our website into justwinbetsbaby.com/shop. And you'll see all the information there. Just put your information down. Take Visa, MasterCard, Venmo, PayPal, the whole 9 yards. And we'll get that out to you. It takes about 5 to 7 business days, and we'll ship it to you USPS Brown Advantage. All right. So, again, we're here for one thing and one thing only, of course, is the NHL Draft, which takes place the next 2 days, June 27th and 28th. And we will talk about the top 5 picks that earned the selection of the lottery draft. And here we have, of course, the number 1 pick goes to the New York Islanders. Shano, what are their needs here? Do they go offense or do they go defense?
They really need some offense. The Islanders need a lot. We'll start there. They're not. I mean, they're getting the first overall pick for a reason. They're not very good. They need a lot. They need a lot of help. But I think they need more offensive help than anything. And the best player in this draft is Matthew Schaefer, and he's like the only one. The NHL draft is not like the NBA draft or the NFL draft where you have a lot of American-born players. It's very hard to tell to like know everybody. I mean, most of your guys that are getting drafted are from America or Canada, but there's a lot Russian, Swedish, Finland, right, Finnish. So there's a lot of people you don't know that come out of it. It's just not enough time in the world to watch all that hockey unless you're a hockey scout and that's like your job, right? So it's very hard to predict. But Matthew Schaefer, he's a Canadian player. He is by far the highest prospect in the draft this year. He helped Team Canada win the U18 World Championship in 2024. He's a defenseman. He's a very skilled player. He usually plays on both the power play and the penalty kill for Canada. He was in Canada's OHL league. He's going to be the first overall pick. Another thing about the NHL draft, what everybody should realize, he might get to the NHL pretty quickly, but most play in the AHL for a year or two, and then they get bumped up. Kind of like baseball, how they sit in the minor league for a year or two, and then work their way up the ladder.
Sure. But you brought up the defense, and this is pretty interesting for the Islanders. I know they need a vast number of draft picks to actually take care of their needs because you've got 2 people who are under or in need of new contracts, of course, Romanoff and Dobson. So I agree. They still go Schaefer at defense, but do they handle those contract situations there?
I think Dobson will get re-signed. Romanoff, I think they might let walk. I don't think they can re-sign both of them. It's going to be pricey if they do, and I don't think they want to tie up that much money on a team that that's rebuilding. Right?
Yeah, it's either that or
too much.
Yeah, it's either that or they're in trade discussions.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the second pick, of course, held by the San Jose Sharks. Where do they go here?
So the Sharks look like they have a rising star. They have Macklin Celebrini. He looks like he's gonna be really good and help rebuild their franchise. The Sharks are kind of in a rebuild mode as well. They're probably about a year ahead of the Islanders, but they just need to keep adding talent. It doesn't matter what. For them, best player available. Whoever they think is the best player that they can get stuff out of is who they're going to take, and that's what they need right now. It's just overall talent. Celebrini looks like he's going to be really well, like a really good star for them. He's still very young, so they just need to put some talent around him and start acquiring some more talent. So best player available for them is what they should take.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. Celebrini, of course, being a young talent, teamed up with Will Smith. So there's that offensive weapons right there. But what they're thinking in the mock drafts, what we've been reading there, Shano, is Michael Misa, a forward.
Yeah, that would give him a little bit more help for Celebrini there to help build up the offense. Yeah, Misa, I think, is another Canadian player from OHL, right? I think he played in the OHL.
Yeah, OHL from
Ontario. That's Ontario League.
Yeah. Sanigua.
It's all those French Canadian names. Who can pronounce all that stuff?
But if they add Mercer to this, they add, of course, they already have Erkland.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the Sharks,
that's
are rebuilding.
That's a pretty good group right there.
Yeah, the Sharks are rebuilding. Like I said, they're in a rebuild year. Or they pretty much cleaned house 2 or 3 seasons ago. They traded away everybody. A lot of contracts just run out and expire, and now they're starting to rebuild and try and get back up there, because the San Jose Sharks used to be pretty good back in the day, and then they needed a hard reset. And sometimes it takes teams like a year or two to realize that, and they realized it, and now they're probably about in year 2 of the rebuild. I think they won't be that great this year, but in 2026 season, I could see them starting to like push towards making the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, these guys pretty much averaged 20, 21, 22 years or younger. But with Misa, what the front office is thinking, you're talking about a guy, not only has he's got some excellent speed there, but the scoring ability. So he's got, and you got to have that hockey sense, as you know there, Shano.
Yeah, for sure. And coming from the OHL is a very, very good, respectable league out of Ontario. There's been a lot of players that came out of it. We talked about Schaefer. He plays in it last year. Connor McDavid, who's one of the best players in the league, if not the best player in the league. He played in the OHL. It's a very respectable league. A lot of players come from it. A lot of players get drafted from it. And a lot of players go to it instead of going to a college or something like that. They'll go play in the OHL. So a lot of your Canadian-born players do that. So they'll just go to the OHL, play there for a year or 2, and then they get drafted to go to the NHL.
All right, let's move to the third pick here. It's held by the Chicago Blackhawks. I think the Sharks, as we just talked about, are pretty much in a great situation. They can go Misa, but we've read reports they could also go for a guy here by the name of Anton Frondel.
Yeah, I don't know much about him. His last name sounds Scandinavian or something like that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, this is, like I said, NHL. It's hard to know everybody just because they're coming from all corners of the globe. But what they're saying about him is that he's got great size. He's another forward that help out getting some offense to Chicago. Chicago was good for so long when they had Patrick Kane and Taves. They were good for a very, very long time. And then now the last couple of years, they've kind of slipped off just because their big stars just aged out, right? I mean, it happens, right? You're good for so long, and then you're in the playoffs every year. You don't get those high draft picks. It's hard to replenish. And then with high end talent, and you're due for a dip for a couple of years, and then you hopefully you're back up. But Chicago's a great run organization. I can see them coming right back into it. They have a lot of salary cap space too, so I think they're going to address a lot of needs and trying to get some free agents.
Sure,
but they're kind of in the same boat where they could use pretty much anything. They have a lot of young talent, but it's a lot of young talent that needs some time to develop. They have a lot of talent in their AHL team that still hasn't made it to the NHL. There's a couple pieces that they're looking forward to coming up next year, but we shall see how they actually play out in the NHL when they get there.
Well, that's a great point because you're looking at the first two with the Islanders and the Sharks. Okay, but after this, when we get to the third one, things start to get a little bit interesting here because there's been rumors that the Blackhawks could move down, or to, but I think this would be a great fit to pair up with Connor Bedard, right? So you can go. Another guy that we can talk about later on is a Porter Martone, I believe that's his name. Or there's another gentleman that I kind of like, Shano, by the name of last name Hadgens.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that either way. I heard that like one big rumor that's been going around the NHL is the Penguins, I think, have 2 first-round picks this year, and they want another star. I mean, they're kind of like what Chicago was a couple years ago, right? They have Malkin and they have Crosby, who are 2 huge stars, but they're both at the end of their career, right? So they need something to replace them by. So that's what they're trying to avoid. That like the Penguins didn't make the playoffs this year, which is rare for them, but it's because they're an aging team. They need to start getting younger, and they want another star to replace the 2 big stars they have on their team. And there's a rumor that they're going to trade both of their number 1 picks to move up, and I could see them doing that with Chicago here, trading both picks. Boom.
Yeah, that would make
Chicago
sense.
Moves back. Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense because those 2 other names that we mentioned, they can move back and probably have an opportunity to pick one of those guys up if available. Let's move to number 4, the Utah Hockey Club, which now officially have been named the Utah Mammoth. So, the other 2 guys that we mentioned for the Sharks and for the Blackhawks in the mock draft here are forwards. Here's another forward that they're talking about here in Brady Martin.
Yeah, and the forwards is what the Mammoth needed. Their defense was actually pretty good last year. Not top of the NHL, but they're at least middle of the pack. With their offense, they struggled to score goals last year, really, really bad. I mean, they're a franchise, or they're like an expansion team, so it's going to take them a year. It's not every expansion team is like the Golden Knights, where you go straight to the Stanley Cup, like your next year. Right? Sure. That's very rare for an expansion team. And then I don't know how the Golden Knights did that, but hands to them. But the Mammoth, which I love, is a great name too, by the way.
Yeah.
They're going to be good, but it's going to take time. An expansion team always takes time to get those pieces around. And like I said, they need offense, so a forward would definitely be what I would go here, either a center or a forward for them.
Yeah. Well, they can team up with a couple guys or a few guys that are already there, in Keller and Cooley, but also another guy by the name of Dylan. Is it Gunther? What is it?
Gunther, yeah.
Yeah, is he doing both WWE, defending his title, and does he play for the Utah Mammoth now? I mean, what's going on there?
He is the Mammoth. He's a big dude. He is the Mammoth.
Martin is compared to a guy from the Champs, of course, Sam Bennett.
Yes, and a lot of people have been saying that. Sam Bennett's a hell of a player. So if he turns out to be Sam Bennett, that'd be great. Sam Bennett, I think, averages over a point per game in the NHL. Like, he's a really good goal scorer and a really good assist. So if he turns out to be like a Sam Bennett, that's a hell of a pickup.
So let's move to the 5th and final pick on the show, which is held by the Nashville Predators. And again, they're suggesting another forward there, Shano, in Porter Martone. But you're looking at a guy that is, I don't know, what is he, 6'3"? This guy's huge.
Yeah, it's a big dude. The Nashville is or Smashville, as they call it down there in Tennessee. They call them Smashville, right, which I think is a cool nickname. They're in a weird spot. They were really good 2 years ago, and then like this year, they kind of just like fell off the face of the earth. I don't know what happened to them. I know they had some injuries. They had some goalie issues. But I know they extended one of their goalies, but he was injured for most of the year last year. I think his name's Saros, I believe. They extended him. So let's see what Nashville does here. Nashville, I think, also has Cap's old head coach, Barry Trotz, is going to be their new GM. I believe.
That's their GM. Yep, I was going to mention that. Yep. Yeah,
he's their new GM, so he'll have to put his fingerprints on the team, and he knows personnel very, very, very well. Like I said, he won the Stanley Cup in 2018 with the Capitals as their head coach, and then he's been slowly phasing out of the head coach role he was in the Islanders for a couple years after the Caps, and then he wanted to do more front office work, not be behind the bench all the time. But he's a very, very well hockey oriented mind. He's been coaching for God knows 40 years probably.
Right.
So we'll see how he wants to build the team and what he needs. But if I was them, I would lead probably another forward to get some more offense on their team.
Well, they're comparing this young man to a couple players who are in the league, in Caulfield and Mikko.
Oh, Mikko Rantanen, yeah. Remember
Yeah.
Mikko Rantanen? He was on fire for the Stars in the playoffs. Remember that?
Yep.
He had a hat trick in like one game to win the game for him. So, yeah, Rantanen's if he turns out to be like that, that'd be great.
But I like the way where, you know, you could also trade down and get the kid out of Boston College with that Brady Higgins.
Yeah, you could do that. And like I said, the Penguins I know are looking to move up, and I'm sure there'll be other teams that'll be looking to move up too. I think when did the Penguins pick? I think 11th, something like that, right?
Yeah,
I think they're 11 and 12. They're back to back,
Yep.
11 and 12.
Yep.
So I could see them trading, like I said, both of those picks and moving up to it. But I think they're going to try and go top 3 Penguins if they're going to do it.
Yeah, the Penguins have 11 and 12. They got the 12th from the Rangers. They acquired that. Finally, before we go there, Shano, what does the Caps do?
Caps are going to be picking pretty late, right? So first round late is what do they got? The 27th pick.
I believe you're correct.
If I were the Capitals, this is what I would do. I would continue to build. I would try and find another center, preferably if I can. If I can find another center. They have a couple free agents that are leaving their team this year, probably. Like they have Lars Eller, who he's a veteran center. They traded for him beginning of the year last year. He used to be on the Caps, and then he went to a different team, and then they traded back for him again. He definitely did not look the same. He was like a foot slower than he usually is. So they need to get younger in a lot of positions, but I think they need to get the ideal position. I think they need to get it is a center. They need another center, like a second line center.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. They need a center badly. They are projecting with the 27th pick, which is held by your Washington Capitals, Benjamin Kindle, a forward out of Calgary who played for the WHL last year.
Their wingers are pretty good, I think, and they have some more coming up from Hershey. There's already one. Alexi Protas is on the team. He's got a younger brother, who they call Baby Protas, who's coming up to the system, and he led the AHL in goals last year for the Hershey Bears.
Right.
So I think he's going to be a productive player. They have Connor McMichael, not McDavid. I wish it was McDavid, but it's McMichael. He's still a good player though. So I think their wings are set. I think they need another center. I think their center depths. They need a point man to get pass that puck to other people.
Yeah, I have to.
The center in hockey, if you know, is kind of more like the center in hockey is kind of like a point guard. You know what I mean?
Sure,
they're the ones setting up the play, pass left, right, set up. They score too, but more like think of them more as like a point guard.
Well, if they get this Benjamin Kindle, that definitely would be a solid prospect for the Washington Capitals. And also the guys that you've mentioned as well. So fans, tell us what you think. That's it for our pre-show of the NHL Draft. Just the first 5 picks, which will go to the Islanders, the Sharks, the Blackhawks, the Mammoth of Utah, and of course the Nashville Predators. And we gave us our suggestions. But if you think it's something different, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button that tells you, and also hit that notification that tells you when we have this video out there for you, so you guys can see what we're producing. We will have our Just Win Bets Baby Shop up at the end of the month, which is just around the corner, just right before the holidays. We've also have some promo specials for you, so you can save some money and get that nice merch. So we'll show you again what it looks like. We also are going to be selling the cursive ones, and we've got here, Shano, real quick, and it comes in white and black. You're wearing the black one, obviously, but now they have coming in. I guess it's gray or silver, whatever they want to call it. But they're very nice new era hats. So we'll get that out to you. Just check out, we'll post the website when it's available, so you guys can be the first to get on that. All right. So for Shano, I'm Joe the Fan, and we'll catch you next time.